Let's take a look at the My Ransom Shield Instant Recovery device and the installation process. Now this is what the device will look like in the packaging, and once we take it out of the box you'll see that there are two USB cables. The one on the left is a USB-C cable and the one on the right is a USB-A cable. So you'll select the cable that best matches the ports that are on your PC. And this is what it's going to look like once it's connected. And at this point, we are ready to start the software installation process. And I've got a copy of the latest build of the software on my desktop, so let's go ahead and double click that. And we will click install. We're going to install build 5.5.4. And the first thing we're going to be asked for here is to accept the license agreement. And next we're going to be asked for the license key. Now the license key is emailed to you when you purchase a product, and also when you're in the cart on the website purchasing the product, it will also display that code for you there. And all you've got to do is copy it, right click, and do a paste, and you're all set. Now we'll go ahead and click next, and the first thing we're going to do is activate the license. Then we're going to create Windows Defender exclusions. And now we're going to get our first screen here for the actual software install. And it's going to ask you, do you want to perform a full system backup or do you want to do a data backup? Now the recommended option is just to do a full system backup first, and then later on you can come back and create data backups later. So let's click next. We're asked, do we want to create a backup to an external device, or do we want to back up to a single image file? And most users are going to want to just keep the first option here, which is recommended, and click next. You're then asked to select your backup device. Now since we've already connected the device, it's pre-selected, so all we've got to do is click next. And we're on our additional backup options page. So here, these are the various options for backups, and let's go through each one by one. So the first is going to ask, do we want to create backups that launch on a recurring schedule? Now you're going to want to select this option if the backup device is connected to your PC all the time. And if we take a look at the screenshot here, we see that Ransom Shield supports connecting to a USB hub, and it also supports connecting to docking stations. So if you're connecting to these peripheral devices, then you can just leave the device always connected and it just sort of runs in the background. Backups automatically occur and you don't even know they're happening. So if we select this option and click next, you'll see that we can create daily, weekly, and monthly backups. And if you click on any of these tiles, you're given the option of creating either a full system backup or an incremental backup. Now if you create a full system backup, it's basically going to blow away your whole drive and create a backup from scratch where everything on the internal drive is backed up to the external drive. If you select the second option here, which is an incremental backup, it's only going to back up any of the changes on the entire system since the last backup that occurred. Okay, so let's cancel out of this. And we can see that our next option is to create a boot menu at startup. So if you select this option, every time you run, every time you reboot, you're going to see a screen like this that asks, do you want to start normally from the internal drive or do you want to start from the Ransom Shield device? So kind of a neat feature. It makes it really super easy to start from your backup device. And as you can see here, this is selected by default. So the next option is when you boot from your backup device, do you want to run in safe mode first? So if you were afraid that possibly you had a malware infection or maybe if ransomware strikes, this creates a really cool, safe operating environment where you can scan for antivirus the first time you launch from the backup device, and you can do that in a safe operating environment. And at that point, once the scan's complete, you can restart and then run normally from the backup device. So pretty cool feature. And the next feature is something that's called Drive Shadow. Now this is patent pending technology where at all times when the device is connected to the PC, you won't actually see it. So even though it's connected, it won't be visible to the rest of the system. And if malware were to strike, it wouldn't see the device and it wouldn't be able to attack it. So another really cool feature. It's highly recommended to turn this on. And the last option we have is to exclude unneeded items from the backup process. So your Windows temp folder, your browser cache folders, your Outlook, every time you click on an email and it downloads pictures, those will go into a cache folder for Outlook. All of that data will be excluded from the backup process. So not only will it make your backup quicker, but it's also a great way to exclude hiding places that ransomware, if it's resident on your system, these are the places where it'll often hide, and if you turn this option on, they won't get backed up to your backup device. So at this point, let's go ahead and click next. And the next choice is, do we want to create a data vault? The default is to not create a data vault, so most users would just want to click next at this point. And just a brief description of data vault. This will create an area on the backup device where, let's say you have 20 or 30 gigabytes of pictures or videos. You don't want them on your internal system. You could put them on this data vault on the backup device, and then that's the only place they would live. And the Ransom Shield software recognizes that that data vault exists on the backup drive, and then whenever you do a full system backup, it won't blow away that part of the device. So every time you create a full system backup, it'll repurpose every part of the drive except where the data vault lives. So again, pretty neat feature, but most users will probably just click next here and choose the default of not creating a data vault. And at this point, it's going to configure how the drives should look on the backup device. And then we're asked to install BitLocker full disk encryption. And again, if you're concerned that maybe your device might get stolen, you might want to turn on encryption. And you do that just by clicking yes. And if you're going to use BitLocker encryption, you have to create a password. And I'll go ahead and do that here. And optionally, you can create a recovery key, and you select where you want that recovery key to get saved to. So I'm going to go ahead and select my desktop. And what that will do is it'll create a file on your desktop that will have a recovery key. And I believe that's a 48-digit recovery key. And if you ever forget your password, you could use that recovery key to unlock the backup device. And there's a few more options down here. You can select to have the device automatically unlocked every time it's connected. You can select to have the device automatically locked every time a backup completes. And then finally, you can select to have your password for the device stored with the software. Now, if it does that, it's going to store it in encrypted form. And the reason why you'd want to do that is if you want to use encryption and you also want to schedule reoccurring backups to the device, the software will need to be able to automatically unlock the device to perform the backup on a schedule. So if you want to use BitLocker and you want to create automated schedules, you would click yes for this option. And at this point, let's go ahead and click next. And finally, we're asked to verify that this indeed is the device we want to back up to. And at this point, you would click yes, and then once you click next, we'd launch into the full system backup process. Now, one other thing I'd like to show you here is once the backup completes, if you look down here in the tray, this is where the My Ransom Shield software is accessed. So if we click on this, you'll see the interface to the software, and this is where you can launch a backup job. You can add or edit your backup jobs. You can restore files and folders, see your backup history. There's a few other backup options, and then finally you have access to help. And if you click on that, you can see there's online help. You can check for updates, view your antivirus info. There's a link here to contact My Ransom Shield if you have any questions. And then finally, you can see what version of the software by clicking the About box here. So that's about it. Thanks for watching.